I want first and foremost to thank the Almighty God who has enabled us all to come this far. We do not take the Lord's grace for granted. I also take the opportunity to sincerely thank the MOBS leadership, and in particular, the Principal, Professor Waswa Balunywa, and the Dean, Faculty of Graduate Studies and Research, Associate Professor Vincent Bagire.
The MBA qualification certainly comes with a lot of promise on powerful positions of leadership, decision-making, proximity to resources in the world of business. Use it to do an outstanding job that demonstrates your integrity and value, and you'll keep your head high and your hands unchained.
For the past 26 years, I've interacted with different Masters of Business Administration groups. One of the things that excites me is, in quotes, the hardship, in quotes, which everyone talks about the MBA. But that hardship, in quotes, is what makes the MBA. And I want to appeal to you that out there, be our ambassadors. Tell the world what MOBS is and how it is exciting.
Let us keep pushing the research. Let us keep doing our best so that we make a record and we graduate in time. Can we promise Professor Bagire that we shall all graduate in time? To our dear administration, Professor Waswa Balunywa, in his absentia, we want to thank him for his able leadership, and he has always been able to move us forward. We are usual attendees of his Saturday program organized by the Leadership Center, and through that program we've managed to learn so much. So indeed we are proud, Professor, in his absentia. Professor Vincent Bagire, Professor, you've been listening, and you are one person who always takes everybody with a lot of respect. You hear from everybody, and we'll give him a round of applause, Professor Vincent Bagire.
Plan to have time for your families, your spouse, your children. Be very deliberate in creating time to be with them, to plan with them strategically. And in spite whatever the growing demands you'll have at work, plan your time well.
So the MOBS MBA is indeed the best program that you have, not only in this country but in the region. And my appeal to you, sir, is like you have done for Makerere, please do something for the MOBS infrastructure. While we have wonderful staff, we have been looking at enabling your future, but we now want to go a little bit out and see how we address poverty. How do you, as a student, as you study, what are you thinking about the poor people in the country?
We shall strive without ceasing to support the interests of all the young people of Uganda to achieve their dreams. There is a lot we can talk about to share and deepen our mutual knowledge on several issues that affect our country. I hope that there will be another opportunity in the future in which we can meet and interact. I commend you all and the university leadership for the great progress you are making in your academic endeavors. God bless you. God bless Uganda. Thank you very much.
National Enterprise Corporation is a parastatal government parastatal that was established by an act of parliament in 1989 to serve as a commercial arm of the Ministry of Defense and Veteran Affairs. We produce goods and services for the benefit of defense forces, the public, and veterans. Today we are delighted, so much delighted that these great people came to us and invited us. We gave them a modest contribution, and we are here to celebrate with you. We thank you very much for inviting us. Thank you.
With you, we are here to celebrate with you your special day, and together we are here to serve your audit needs and any other services. Now, PKF offers quite a number of services. As PKF, we are here. We are happy to be with you today. Enjoy your evening.
Have attained a very high training. If you are managing any business, focus on the growth of that business, because you're growing your career, you're growing your CV. Even if the owner of the business does not pay you handsomely, does not reward you handsomely, but at least your CV, someone will come for you to give you a better. When once he moves, doing a holding company, I don't know if you already have one. I helped Makere design. You know, I did the concept. When I went at Makere on council, I did the concept for a holding company.
Low-key, all of them done they notice. I'm not joking, all my guys, them know me. Since 06, I've been writing this story. I know be OG, but if you ask them know me. I know they blow trees, only lonely me lonely. Music chose me, just know this and know peace. I dey low key, but I'm never.
This is the spirit and determination with which this whole concept and idea of the MBA corporate dinner was conceived by the group here, and we are happy for those who have come here, and for those who have missed, I'm sure they will celebrate with us in spirit.
I'm on fire, my legacy will not die. My family is for life.
It's my pleasure to be part of you today and celebrate with you. I will celebrate with you again as we celebrate that convocation at which all of you will have featured on my graduation list. Best of success. Yes.
All my guys, them know me. Since 06, I've been writing this story. Ask them know me.
Father, we praise you for this event and your purpose for it. October 2020, we embarked on this journey. Some with clear paths, others not. We thank you for our facilitators who, from all campuses, who have helped us and kept us sailing through the muddy paddles. With us, they've kept us going through the muddy paddles with us, and now we can look back and smile at what we've gone through after scrubbing clean. We know that when we gather together, you always have a divine agenda, and we love you for that, Father. We thank you for our guests who have been enabled to come and speak to us. Help us to pick a leaf, a branch, or a tree if we so can. We don't take their time or commitment for granted. Bless them manyfold, for the ground they have sowed on is fertile. Help us that that ground will bear fruit. And when they look back many weeks from today, they will say they sat with us, they walked with us, and they flagged us off. Blanket us with your peace today, Father. Keep us physically safe and guard our hearts and minds and pride and selfishness. Help us not to be proud or selfish. Keep love at the forefront of our minds today and the guiding light for all we set out to accomplish and celebrate. In Jesus' name we pray.
Wow, wow, wow. So, once again, I would like to welcome all of you. Thank you so much for coming through. To those of you that are just arriving, you are very welcome. And at this juncture, allow me ask the DJ to get us a song. I want all of us to stand up. Maybe we all stand up. I want us to loosen up a little bit. Let's loosen up a little bit. Let's loosen up a little bit. That is nice. Let's go. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, let's go. Let's go down a little bit. Let's go like this. Okay, allow me to invite the chairperson, organizing committee, to come and give us his welcome remarks. The chairperson of the organizing committee. Ladies and gentlemen, may we all stand up and welcome the keynote speaker.
The Deputy Speaker of Parliament, and Right Honorable Thomas Tayewa, he will be joining us. We will also, I think, later on receive the principal mobs. So I recognize him in his absentia. The Dean, Faculty of Graduate Studies and Research, Professor Bagir, most welcome. Deputy Dean is present, members of the academic staff. I've seen Professor David Katamba here. I've seen Professor Kutu. You are all welcome. We have representatives from our sponsors, National Enterprise Corporation, led by the Public Relations Officer, Mr. James Katongala. You're most welcome. We have our friends from PKF partners. Please stand for recognition. Distinguished students, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. We are indebted with gratitude to our guests for sparing time in your busy schedules to be here with us. Before you is an intellectual group of students marking an important milestone in their academic journey, the end of rigorous classwork, and the onset or continuation for some on another leg of a daunting research journey. Hence, this get-together is to reinvigorate the group and further renew their energies in a more interactive manner, and then keep on going, because we are not done until the last part of the assignment is done. One of Africa's most iconic revolutionaries and statesmen, the late Mose Nelson Mandela, said that courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. In other words, the brave person is not that one who does not fear, but one who overcomes their fears. And yet on another occasion, Mandela said, there is no passion to be found playing small, or in settling for a life that is less than one you are capable of living. Ladies and gentlemen, in sum, this is the spirit and determination with which this whole concept and idea of the MBA corporate dinner was conceived by the group here, and we are happy for those who have come here, and for those who have missed, I'm sure they will celebrate with us in spirit. It is therefore my joy to report that the ambition of this group for this event has come to pass in organizing this event, and I think there is evidence to see here today for everyone who cares. And this is in spite of several worries and fears we had at the beginning, wondering whether we could pull this off. On that note, therefore, I want first and foremost to thank the Almighty God who has enabled us all to come this far. We do not take the Lord's grace for granted. I also take the opportunity to sincerely thank the MOOBS leadership, and in particular, the Principal, Professor Waswa Balunywa, and the Dean Faculty of Graduate Studies and Research, Associate Professor Vincent Bagire. Without their blessing, guidance, and support, the group might not have moved one step further with this endeavor. We thank you, Professor. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to make special recognition of our chief guest, who will join us later on, and our keynote speaker, who held important responsibilities in this country and therefore very busy, but agreed to be here with us on this noble occasion. Thank you, our keynote speaker. He is just from another function, and I think he deserves a round of applause for making it here. I wish, in another very special way, to thank the MBA students and future managers who came out in droves, parting with their hard-earned savings to make a monetary contribution that has ensured this corporate dinner a success. There are over 100 of them here from all the MOOBS campuses, Jinja, Mbarara, Arua, and Kampala. I think you deserve a special round of applause, especially from the campuses afield. We have people from Arua, from Jinja, and Mbarara. You're most welcome. However, despite the fantastic efforts of mobilization by the students toward the success of this event, we are lucky to be joined by a few sponsors and well-wishers who rendered the assignment of the organizing committee not only easier, but also guaranteed that it will be more memorable and colorful. These are the Senior Presidential Advisor for Special Operations and Commander Land Forces UPDF, Lieutenant General Moses Kainerugaba. The General made a significant financial contribution to the cause, and the organizing committee and the students cannot be thankful enough. Asante sana Fandi. He is not here. He would have wished to be here, but he gave me his communication to deliver to this audience, and I will share it later on. We also have our friends from the New Vision Group, and whose CEO, Mr. Don Wanyama, was most helpful when we approached him. They are our media partners at this event, and for those who have made it here, trust me, you are being watched live and followed on all New Vision publicity platforms as we speak. Thank you, New Vision Group. Some people maybe have never seen themselves on TV, but New Vision is here to do it for us today, and I think they deserve a significant applause. I also thank the National Enterprise Corporation, which is the Ministry of Defense and Veteran Affairs and UPDF business arm. I extend my deep appreciation to the Managing Director, Lieutenant General James Mujira, and his team, led by Mr. James Katongana, who is here. He had also wished to attend, but he has been caught up in other duties. So he sent his team, and we're happy to have it here. Thank you so much for standing with the MBA Moves group in organizing this dinner. And lastly, of course, as I mentioned, our PKF partners, Uganda, and we also give special thanks to Mr. Frederick Chibedi, who bought our concept and supported us. Thank you, PKF. In the same breath, I want to report that there is an eminent team to ensure the success of this auspicious occasion, making endless errands, chasing potential sponsors, liaising with service providers, and brainstorming to pull ideas together. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the organizing committee, and I think I would have done a disservice if I left this podium without introducing them to you so that you can see them. They are behind everything you see here this evening, and I request those who are here to move forward so that the audience can see you and give you the appreciation you deserve. Members of the organizing committee, please.
Showing me around like I lost my way, telling all your friends that I'm being failed. Baby, see me, I don't believe.
I was the chair organizing committee. I was not alone, and as I've already pointed out, it was a brainstorming session throughout, from beginning up to this moment. And I think we are still solving a lot of issues. So it is not yet due until this event is successfully closes later on this evening. With me here is the well-known Seman Abdul Nasser, the class president. He needs no introduction, and is probably one of the most lovely class leaders I've interacted in my time. We also have Samuel Kauma, who was working as our treasurer. He has done a fantastic job. All these posters we are talking about, he was the one running up and down. And I'm sure we have some modular representatives here. Thank you very much, Muyingo. We also have Olivia Tsingwire, who was the coordinator of Mbarara campus, but she's not here. She was not able to make it. but we were in touch with her throughout the preparations. We have Diana Bukisa, coordinator at Arua campus. She's not here, but she has also done an amazing job. And we have, oh, she's just getting in, okay. She's here. A round of applause. So this was not a Kampala affair, ladies and gentlemen. It involved all the campuses of MOOPS. We reached out to them and invited them to participate. And as you can see, some are here. We have Yusuf Kadigo from Jinja campus. Jinja campus is well represented. Thank you for the amazing job you did. And then we have Leopold Kamujene. Is he here? He is the gentleman who has been behind our graphics design, all those posters you have been seeing, and so on. He has done a fantastic job. Without his skills, I don't know how we've been managed to communicate and entice the people who have made it here. So, ladies and gentlemen, these are the members of the organizing committee. Thank you for coming, and thank you for ensuring that this event is a success. I'm sure the MBA group will forever appreciate that we are able to interact. This group was so big that apparently I had skipped some names. How could I have forgotten Mariam Nachigudi, our fashion star, and the very, very energetic mobilizer. Please, she deserves a round of applause. She has been exceedingly active, especially as far as coordinating us with MOOPS management is concerned. Yes, and then my friend Frank, alongside Nodrin, also did an amazing job moving to all the sponsors, ensuring we are able to find whatever we can find in order to ensure the success of this event. Is there anyone else? This group has been composed of 15 members. So it has been a big group, and we took lessons from what MOOPS has taught us over time, especially in this era. Many meetings were held online because members couldn't make it in the meetings most of the time, and that's why it is a special occasion that most of them have been able to make it here and interact with the rest of the members. So I request the organizing committee to go and take their seats. When I joined the MOOPS MBA program some time back, I had been tempted to imagine it would be a walk in the park, and I don't know why. I want to say that this delusional approach almost ruined me as soon as I stepped into my first MBA class. I just hope I never again do 7 course units of anything in 3 to 4 months of a semester. For a student who is working or has a family to look after, I found this a very crazy schedule. I felt overwhelmed and was so soon drawing on my resilience results, which I usually take time to draw on. I would say that MBA is a bittersweet program, a kind of golden hell, and if that exists anywhere. Hell in the sense that the workload and assignments are humongous, which leaves you feeling a bit paralyzed. And yet, it is golden and sweet, because at the end of the day, you are fundamentally transformed intellectually. Without a doubt, this program can be a game changer in your professional and career life if you can endure the hellish part of it. Nevertheless, even though it's not yet full for us, I take this opportunity to congratulate my peers here for reaching this point. It is not easy, and it is certainly not yet time to rest on our laurels. I thank you, and I wish all of us good luck in the remaining journey. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, allow me invite the class president. Such a huge title. Mr. Semanda Abdul Nasser. After his speech, I will tell you the titles he has held from childhood.
Thank you so much. First, give me another round of applause. The chief guest, Right Honorable Thomas Taiwa, in his absentia. The keynote speaker, Mr. John Musinguzi Rujoki. The MOBS principal, Professor Bosco Balinywa, in his absentia. The Dean of GSR, Professor Vincent Bajire. The Deputy Dean, Dr. Geoffrey Nkutu. Mr. Ahmed Walugembe. Our dear sponsors, PKF, CLF, NEC, and MOBS. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to all of you. My name is Semanda Abdul Nasser. It's indeed a pleasure to be here today. I often say you've been a great team. To be your leader has made me more happy, and I believe with you, you've made me better, and I can say I love you so much. The reign of class presidency has been a reign of a lot of higi-haga, razzmatazz, and so on. I know at a certain point, we wrote to FGSR and told Professor Bajire, can you extend these exams? With the famous petition, not so. And I want to thank administration, they're very listening. We engaged in a lot of talks with them. Could you push, could you push? Many of you signed, there were also ghost people who signed, but they didn't know. We had to make our point there. And administration listened to us. With you, we've been able to move forward. And I believe you've been a great team, and we've managed to achieve a lot. First clap for yourselves. My message to the students' fraternity, recently I was in the Deputy Dean's office, Mr. Geoffrey Nkutu, and he told me, what are you celebrating? I hope you don't relax on research. You should know that the research journey is still there. So I hope all of us, that's why we called it the MBA corporate dinner, not the finalist dinner. It's not over until it's what? Until it's over. So I want all of us, my message to the students' fraternity, let us keep pushing the research. Let us keep doing our best so that we make a record and we graduate in time. Can we promise Professor Bajire that we shall all graduate in time? To our dear administration, Professor Balinywa in his absentia, we want to thank him for his able leadership, and he has always been able to move us forward. We are usual attendees of his Saturday program organized by the Leadership Center. And through that program, we've managed to learn so much. So indeed, we are proud, Professor, in his absentia. Professor Vincent Bajire, Professor, you've been listening, and you're one person who always takes everybody with a lot of respect. You hear from everybody. And we give him a round of applause, Professor Vincent Bajire. To our dear sponsors, the Commander Land Forces, thank you so much for the support. PKF, thank you so much for the support. NEC, thank you so much for the support. MOBS, we are so much proud. Without you, we wouldn't have moved further. And then NOVA also, thank you so much. To our chief guest, Juan in his absentia, obviously he will be here with us very soon. We want to thank him so much for accepting to be here to grace this day with us. Our keynote speaker, Mr. John Musinguzi Rujoki. Let's give Mr. John Musinguzi a very big round of applause. Thank you so much for the few times we've interacted with Mr. Musinguzi. He's a very humble person, and he listens to everybody. I'm not telling you to start bringing your CVs here. It is a process. But thank you so much, Mr. John Musinguzi, for that humility and the love you always show to everybody. We so much appreciate. At this juncture, as I conclude, I would like to request my two deputies to come and shine. Use this opportunity. I want to invite my two deputies to come and, mention their names. I think you can see they are very smart, but I'm also smart, not so? Hey, let me allow them to introduce themselves to you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Acheng Rita Mary, the Deputy Class President, and it has been an honor to be a leader in the MBA class.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so happy that this day has come. It has been a dream come true. I've made a lot of noise on the group. Even when I'm woken up to read, I would remind you about the dinner so that you can make payments. I'm so happy, and may God bless you. I'm Mariam Nachikude Lugolobi.
Thank you so much, DJ. And as I conclude, I want to thank the organizing committee. There have been awesome people. In a special way, let's clap for our chairman, Lieutenant Colonel Chris Magezi. Thank you so much for your chairmanship. You led us well and gave us the vision to keep pushing forward, and the entire team of the organizing committee. Let's give them a round of applause. As I conclude, I want to conclude with a famous quote to all of us, that if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But by all means, keep moving forward. For God and my country, thank you so much. May God bless you all.
Thank you so much, Mr. Abdul Nasser. And the way you were talking, really, we must start saying Abdul Nasser for 2026. I do not know which constituency, or you're coming from primary or president, I don't know. But whatever it is, think about that. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's have a small music interlude.
And I'm a professor at Makerere University, a professor of corporate social responsibility. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Protocol observed. I'm the Deputy Dean, Faculty of Graduate Research Center. That's what I do. Dr. Nkutu Geoffrey.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I'm Ahmed Walgembe, doctor. I'm the head Department of Marketing and Media Studies, Faculty of Marketing International Business at Makerere University Business School.
Our guest speaker, Commissioner John Vijot Musimbuzi, Commissioner General, Uganda Revenue Authority, the Principal MOBS, Professor Waswa Barunywa, on his way, my colleagues, members of the academia, and leaders in MOBS, the class president, MBA integrated, and your sub-leaders across the campuses, the chairman organizing committee, members of the Master of Business Administration, dear friends. Today, I reminisce June the year 2000. That time, my MBA class at MOBS had just gone through a hectic course session. We felt tired but excited that we had reached there. We agreed to have a get-together, and we gathered at the home of our friends, one of us. While there, the stories were, how do we get ourselves excited when we still had one segment remaining of research? Today, I have promised everyone that I don't want to spoil the party. I'm not going to ask about your proposals and concepts. Yes. At that party, at that get-together, we agreed on 3 or 4 things which I want to put before you. One, we committed that as a class, we shall all work and complete our dissertations and graduate on the same day. And 80% of that class graduated on the same day. Not going with the numbers, we were 20 in the class. My MBA class, 1998, we were 20. And we were studying the day group, studying from 8 up to 5. And out of the commitment of that party, 16 of us graduated on the same day. 1 remained, 2 graduated the following year, 1 has not graduated up to now. We call him MBA 20-something. He has taken all that time. I have met him once or twice and reigned over him to come and complete. And every time he says, Vincent, to meet you is a blessing. Tomorrow I will call you. He calls me after 3 years when he has been registered again. So do not get to that. The second commitment we made was to keep together. And we transformed our course leader, our class president, into a permanent president. And up to now, he's our president, he's our class monitor. So I want to suggest our commitment, even as that class, MBA 1998, we have a cup of tea on 5th November. We have kept together, meeting and talking about professional life. Our children and the spouses have come to know each other. And when we have a celebration of babies, celebration of funerals, we all stand in for each other. And that's what it means to be an MBA class. That commitment was made that time when we met in June 2000. I put the same before you. The third commitment was that the MBA is a transforming degree. It's a management degree. We wished to go out there and make a professional difference in all that we shall be involved in. And what you might have known about me in MOBS is part of that commitment. Others are in the Revenue Authority, others are in government, others are in international organizations, others are in private business, and others are now starting to retire. As you go out, please, MBA has transformed you. Our chairman, Magezi, has put it right. There are 2 stages at the MBA. The first one, which I fear up to now, is GMAT. That entry admission test. Up to now, when I see people sitting for it, I pity them. The other one is what you are getting into. That is the Viva Course. Another exciting moment when you'll be done. I want to assure you, on behalf of my colleague, Dr. Nkutu, that FGSR will do what it takes to ensure a smooth flow towards that final end. During my tenure at MOBS, for the past 26 years, I've interacted with different Masters of Business Administration groups. One of the things that excites me is, in quotes, the hardship, in quotes, which everyone talks about the MBA. But that hardship, in quotes, is what makes the MBA. A Master of Business Administration internationally is a revered degree in terms of management. This country is in dire need of the MBAs by that quote. Many organizations, I don't want to steal Commissioner's words, he will tell you his experience. That to run organizations, which many of you are involved in, you need several doses of the MBA. And I'm proud that as we celebrate today, you have gone through the first and biggest leg of the MBA. Go out there as our disciples. I mentioned many times that one of the problems I see in the country, I use one glass, one lens, because that's my area, is simple word, management. We have a management problem. When I hear people have stolen money, my word is management. When the organizations have made wrong decisions, management. We have, unfortunately, grilled you through the 7 courses per semester that Reverend Maggie is talking about, to see management from different lenses. We call it iteration. You can look at organizations from different lenses, and the MBA has provided you that. And we are proud that you can come here to celebrate that achievement. I wish you the success in the remaining part of your MBA journey. I reiterate the commitment of the faculty to do what it takes. As you are aware, I'm always available online. I don't give appointments. I don't give office engagements. I'm available along the way. I was telling you, those who are welcoming me there, one research student, I gave the appointment to find me here. And he has been here waiting, and I told him, I'm sure I'm coming to that spot. And I cleared him from here. And that is what I've been appealing to my colleagues to be able to do, so that we engage you as you go out there. Finally, there is one unsung story that in MOOBS we don't mention to our students. You know, academicians were a bit proud. We were a bit proud. So when you come, we say, you students here and there. But one of the things that we host inside ourselves is that you people are outside there, you are our very big resource. We revere you, we fear you, we honor you, because we know with you out there, MOOBS has a name. And I want to appeal to you that out there, be our ambassadors. Tell the world what MOOBS is and how it is exciting. Our respect for you is very high, because we know you people are in various organizations. You have contacts and networks that many of us may not have. If you had asked me to invite Commissioner, I would have taken months possibly, but someone just said, hi sir, how are you? Fine. This is X. Can you be available? And he is here. I want to thank you, Commissioner, for being available. So dear friends, it's my pleasure to be part of you today and celebrate with you. I will celebrate with you again as we celebrate that convocation at which all of you will have featured on my graduation list. Best of success.
Thank you so much. Another big round of applause for him. All right.
especially on my bangers. Hold that thing, man, hold that thing. Baby, let me take a look. Oh Lord, me want all the girls in the whole world. I know what I'm doing, so wrong. But since no man can focus, we definitely don't give a fuck. She said she only got a girlfriend. It's so pretty friend, pretty friend, pretty friend, pretty friend. She said she only got a woman on the bed. Pretty friend, oh Lord, pretty friend. Listen to me, please. So the girlfriend said she wants me back home right too. So we gonna say I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. Shower sound.
As we are dancing, let's welcome Professor Waswa Barunwa. Make some noise for Professor Waswa Barunwa. Show us what you have. Show people what moves is made of. Let's go. DJ Shafiq. DJ Shafiq. Jerusalem,
the Right Honorable Deputy Speaker of Parliament, our keynote speaker, Comrade John Simzi, the Principal, Makerere University Business School, Professor Waswa Barunwa, the Dean, FGRS, Associate Professor Vincent Bajire, our class president, Comrade Nasa Semanda, and the chairman organizing committee, Lieutenant Colonel Chris Magezi. My colleagues, fellow managers, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It gives me a profound honor to stand here this evening to share a few words before I invite our keynote speaker. My name is James Batabare, and I've been in the Kampala campus. But I want to say this before I share a few words. This is my second time of making a try on this great MBA course. The first time I came in 2017, and I studied for 2 weeks, and I disappeared. I did not even apply for a dead year, but I just did what? Disappeared. What Comrade Lucrecia was talking about, it is indeed true. I had just enrolled, then I was transferred from one department to another at my workplace, and I found that I could not balance my work then and the studies. So I decided to quietly disappear. So during the first wave of the lockdown, when I saw the advert, I said, well, during this lockdown, maybe I can do this course. And if God helps me and we survive the lockdown, I will tell a story that during the COVID lockdown, we were able to enroll and pursue an MBA. And that's what I did. I would have also not have managed to remain in the course because I also had other competing tasks at office. But I want to thank my group, which the class president and the chairman organizing committee happen to belong to. That is Group 6. Can you please stand up and wave to us? Group 6, Group 6, where are you? Aha, that is the group. Now that group, had it not been for Group 6, I would have also quietly walked away. And I remember when we were sharing in one of our last discussions, Ndogo Chris here said that he has never found an amazing group like Group 6, because we have also gone with me. So I want to thank you. We are really proud of you. Thank you for making us start the course. And I believe what is remaining now, we shall finish it. Asante. Ladies and gentlemen, our keynote speaker tonight is none other than Comrade John Msimzi. I know most of us have heard about him in the news. Some have interacted with him in the different briefings that has been making. But allow me to give you my projection of whom Msimzi is. John R. Msimzi is the Commissioner General of the Uganda Revenue Authority, which is a statutory body that was established under the URA Act, Cap 196, with the mandate of assessing, collecting, and accounting for all central government revenue, and advise the government on policy matters related to taxation. John assumed office at URA on the 29th day of March 2020 in the thick of two COVID-19 pandemic induced lockdowns, during which he helped steer Uganda's economic resilience. His mission is to have Uganda fully fund its national budget by rallying all efforts of eligible citizens and key economic players to work together and liberate the nation from the shackles of debt and the burden of borrowing. Under his leadership, URA has established an array of business solutions that have ensured business continuity and trade facilitation, ultimately mitigating the pandemic's impact on the economy. For instance, by the end of the financial year 2020-2021, URA registered an annual revenue percentage growth of 14.99%. This was the highest growth that we had attained as URA in the last 4 years. At the end of the last financial year, 2021-2022, URA attained the largest revenue collection, as it collected the revenue, as it collected 21.6 trillion, thus registering a revenue growth of 12.4%. John has reinvented service delivery at the URA by instituting several all-inclusive initiatives premised on the organization's recommitment to being a listening partner, more efficient and transparent institution guided by the values of professionalism, integrity, and patriotism. John Msimzi has worked in various entities, as I will share with you below. After his university, John served with the Ministry of Defense as the head of the pay team, which played a vital role in helping the UPDF leadership establish the Army's strength. He served the forces in the 4th Division in northern Uganda, and thereafter in the 2nd Division in Western Uganda. He later served at the Ministry of Defense headquarters in Bombo. Thereafter, John served as the head of the audit function at the Special Revenue Protection Services that used to be known as SRPS then, which greatly supported Uganda Revenue Authority in the anti-smuggling operations. John later joined the private sector. Mr. John Musimbuzi is a holder of Bachelor of Science in Mathematics from the University of Greenwich, United Kingdom. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in taking this singular honor and pleasure to invite our keynote speaker, Comrade John Musimbuzi.
Our guest of honor, in absentia, the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, the Right Honorable Thomas Tayebwa, the Commander, Land Forces, also in absentia, the Principal of Makerere University Business School, Professor Waswa Balunywa, the Dean of the Faculty of Graduate Studies and Research, Professor Vincent Bajire, the distinguished academicians in the room and all the academic staff of MOBS, the captains of industry and colleagues from the private sector, the honorary members of the MBA class who have gathered us here today, members of the media, all invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I'm extremely excited and humbled at the invitation that was extended to me to join you on this great dinner of the MBA class. On receiving the invitation, and I think I discussed this with Comrade Magezi and Comrade Nasa when they came to my office, I had a mixed feeling. One, I said, why would the distinguished entrepreneurs want to invite a tax collector on a dinner? We hardly get these kind of invitations. And from the days of Jesus Christ, those of you who read the Bible, there was a chief tax collector in the town of Jericho called Zacchaeus. So one day when Jesus was passing through the streets, he called Zacchaeus to have dinner with him. And it did not please a lot of people in Jericho. And I suspect those who complained were entrepreneurs, because the issue was, this man has been overtaxing us. What does Jesus want to do with a sinner? But I want to thank the MBA business class, the MBA class, the organizing committee led by Kano Magezi and Comrade Nasa, the president, who, following the example of Jesus Christ, extended an invitation to the chief tax collector to join you for dinner. So I'm very excited to be here. But as I started to think about what I can discuss with you this evening, I thought about a number of ideas. I thought I would talk about taxation and how the entrepreneurs can help us improve the taxation in this country. But on a second thought, I also thought about you as individuals, and I would want to address you this evening as individuals. Yes, you're entrepreneurs who are stepping out to help in building the economy. Yes, you're business managers. Many of you will either be running personal businesses or running corporate organizations. Yes, we will be serving you at the URA because we exist to serve businesses and facilitate trade. But also you executives who will be deciding what to file and what to pay as taxes. But above all these other things, your parents, you'll be rising up, or you're already rising up, and educating young Ugandans, the promise for the future. So I'd like to link with you at that level and to connect with you and share with you some of my experiences that I've learned over time. I'm therefore humbled to stand before you here today, and I'm thankful to those who invited me to such a deserving honor of the MBA audience and all the professionalism it carries with it. Ladies and gentlemen, in the context of the theme for which we've gathered here today, which is enhancing networks, knowledge, and pragmatic problem solving for entrepreneurial growth, I felt the urge to set before you a few challenges that I envisage to be ahead of us. Many of us already may have these on our minds, and all of us should have them at the back of our minds as we move to put into practice what we have learned in the MBA class. I'll share one major challenge and then break it down into sub-challenges for us to ponder on tonight. And then I'll submit some of the nuggets from my own life of service and experience. And this is the major challenge. I'd like everyone at a personal level to ask themselves a question: how will you measure your life? Either at the end of your career or midway, how will you be able to measure your life? From the good professors here today, this evening, from the MBA program, I'm sure they have taught you much about measuring business performance. I must admit, I'm not an MBA alumni myself, but I know from my MSc that you cannot get out of such a fundamental business program without learning how to measure business performances. Along that, I'm sure you have come across strategies like how to execute a mission that you set out to achieve, successful corporate governance, financial performance, just to mention but a few. So much about running a successful business organization must have been handled during the course of your course. But when one's career is done, say at retirement, or even at the end of one's life journey, the question remains, how can you measure your life? Let me break this into simpler questions. Number one, how can I be sure that I'll be successful and happy in my career? Question number two, how can I be sure that my relationships with my spouse, with my children, with my family, nuclear and extended, with my close friends, become an enduring source of happiness? And number three, how can I be sure that I will live a life of integrity and stay out of trouble? Trouble can be jail, trouble can be scandals, or anything that is potentially a pit for any executive to fall in. As you know, within our country and beyond, of course, the world is littered with many examples of very impressive business managers that have not done so well in answering these simple, basic questions that I've just mentioned. And the examples are both here within our country and in far countries. For people who have accomplished so much in the academic sphere, some of them Harvard Business School MBAs, some from the other reputable schools that have potentially failed to answer very basic questions of life. And therefore, as you ponder on these questions, allow me to share with you just 4 nuggets. There are many things in life that cannot simply be learned on the job. And that is why we attend classes. We want to learn before we set out to go out and work. I don't think many of us would like to learn the marriage lessons on the job. That would mean you'd have to fall out of many marriages before you learn what to do. But I believe you can strategically plan to be a good spouse, and your spouse will become an enduring source of happiness now and in your career. A good marriage makes a good entrepreneur and a good business manager. I can tell you from experience, you do not want to leave the office after a very long and busy day only to go home and find an unhappy partner. So be deliberate on being a good spouse. And once you're a good spouse, your spouse will return that goodness and you'll have a happy home. The management and corporate life can present many, many challenges that would not necessarily serve well our marriages. Therefore, take a decision to be overboard on the temptations that you meet at work. Plan to have time for your families, your spouse, your children. Be very deliberate in creating time to be with them, to plan with them strategically. And in spite whatever the growing demands you'll have at work, plan your time well. The next point is optimal resource allocation. I'm trying to borrow MBA concepts, but to apply them at a personal and private level. We all understand that for every organization, if you want to know which direction they are heading, you do not ask what is it that they prioritize. Just look at where they deploy optimally their resources. And in life, there are three major resources that everyone must make several decisions on how to deploy, because they are never in abundance or they are not there unlimited. Resource number one is money, resource number two is time, resource number three is energy. So how you prioritize the deployment of these three resources tells us where your priorities are. And you will not have all of them at the same time. If you have your money and your time, you may not have the energy. This applies to many people who are approaching retirement. If you have the energy and the time, you may not have the money. The wallet could be struggling. And we see a lot of young people, very masculine and able, but without much in their wallets. Then when you have the money and the energy, you may not have the time. I believe this is common for many of us in areas of responsibility. You will not have the time to be with your family, to do the things that matter. Therefore, for every moment of your life, every decision about how you spend your energy, your time, and your money will be making a statement about where your priorities really are. And I would like to share with you 7 top priorities where people spend these resources. And some of them have called them the 7 F's. F number 1 is your farm, your business or work. F number 2 is your faith. Number 3, your family, your friends, your finances, your fitness, and your fun. I've already seen that this class of MBA has a very good sense of fun for the few moments I've been here. So please, consider the other 6 F's as well, in addition to this one of fitness and fun. Now, our national development can not only be measured through financial terms, it is also the quality of life of the citizens. Therefore, let us optimally allocate our resource on all these areas of priority. Now, point number 3 is staying out of trouble. Even the best businesses can fall from greatness, while high achievers can also end up in some trouble, as I've already said. I have learned over time that it is easier to hold the right principles 100% of the time than holding them 98% of the time and relax on the 2%. That 2% deviation may cost you a lifetime reputation. Therefore, avoid temptation to take shortcuts or compromise. Be a person of integrity all through. By the way, one of the potential temptations is the temptation to avoid tax. So as I talk about temptations, please bear that in mind, that as you go out, be tax compliant. The MBA qualification certainly comes with a lot of promise on powerful positions of leadership, decision making, proximity to resources in the world of business. Use it to do an outstanding job that demonstrates your integrity and value, and you'll keep your head high and your hands unchained. Lastly, the fourth area is value addition. In marketing, you must have learned that surviving in a very competitive market is very dependent on a superior value proposition to the market. The value proposition that serves and meets the needs of your targeted customer. People who add value to things, who add value to others. I'd like to refer to a scripture in the Bible, in the first letter of Peter, in the 4th chapter and the verse 10, and it says, I quote, "Each of you should use whichever gift you have received to serve others, as faithful stewards of God's grace in your various forms." Therefore, friends, through service and adding value to others, problem solving for entrepreneurial growth starts with life lived intentionally well, strategically planned, and optimal resource allocation, staying out of trouble and adding value to others. I trust that these 4 nuggets are some of the outlines that you may find useful as you measure what your life has achieved. Now, as a tax collector, I will not leave this podium without mentioning the importance of paying tax. This was my earlier topic that I wanted to talk about, but I stayed away from it because I knew it may not necessarily be the most appropriate for this evening. But I want to take this opportunity, having a great audience of business executives and potential ones, that I rally you to support our country in the effort to make it economically independent. God has given us a beautiful country, Uganda, which is simply the best spot on this globe, except for the lack of involvement. Except for the lack of involvement. I would like to refer to some statistics. The World Bank and the IMF have, in different reports, recommended that for any country to evolve, it must be collecting at least 20% of its GDP. Uganda today collects about 13% of our GDP. Now that is far below even what the average of sub-Saharan Africa is, which stands at 16%. And for the last 12 years, we have just stagnated between the 10 and 12%. Only last year, after the growth of about 14%, as read earlier in the introduction, that we are able to move by 1% growth to 13. However, if you want to think about countries that are developed where we all wish to go, even closer to us, like here in Africa, South Africa, for those of you who have been, they collect about 26% of their GDP. Tunisia, much higher, about 34%. Therefore, friends, we must improve our tax to GDP for this beautiful nation of Uganda to develop. At Uganda Revenue Authority, we have set out a very ambitious path, and we believe that we can achieve this with the support of everybody, especially the great entrepreneurs like the ones I have in the room today. We believe that we can grow this to about 18% by the year 2020-2021. 2025. Our tax base is still very narrow. Our register has only been having about 1.7 million taxpayers until this year, when it has grown by almost 1 million taxpayers to about 2.7. Now, the additional 1 million taxpayers have just gotten on the register. And when you get on the register, you may not necessarily start paying tax. But it says, we have identified you, we will keep in touch with you as we support you to grow so that you can start paying tax. But out of a population of more than 45 million people, even 3 million is very small. It means that the tax burden is still on the shoulders of a few. We have a plan to grow this to about 5 million taxpayers by the year 2025. Again, we need your support on this. So when you get out and you start running those businesses, ensure that they are tax registered and they are making their fair share of tax. The other parameter, which will tell us how we are doing as a country, the local domestic taxes that we collect can only cover 50%, around that, 52% of our budget, of our national needs. Meaning, for the rest of the percentage, we have to depend on borrowing. And that is not sustainable. Our debt GDP ratio has now gone to 52%, and it will only get worse if we are not able to collect enough revenue domestically. Therefore, for us to do this, we must all contribute. For us to change this trend of things, we must all contribute our fair share of revenue in taxes, and we must be willing to voluntarily comply. A recent research has also shown that many Ugandans are not tax compliant, indicating that in the whole of East African region, we have the lowest number of tax compliers. Now, this can also be changed by you comrades of the MBA class who now fully understand the importance of taxes in national development. And I want to thank you for the noble contribution that you're making. These contributions are the patriotic foundational bricks that we need to liberate our country from economic dependence and from the chains of debt. When each one of us plays their part, we'll be able to develop our country. I want to once again thank you for organizing this very important function and for inviting me. I wish you the very best in the remaining part of the journey, and I wish you God's blessings in the career endeavors ahead. Thank you so much. May God bless you.
Mama tobiranasa obibulira mangi tebiragasa bireeta n'ekitiibwa kyaffe okuva abo bibulidde batakubalikozi olowooza bakusasira mumbi besooka olunaku betulisasika ebyabwe towuliriza kusaba tubaseni bona ebyo byogera byamutwa mama wabana bange mulongo wange toakawanga magala nyo mama wabana bange mulongo wange toakawanga ebanga mpangu obwesiga bukube nawe bukube mama wabana bange obwesiga bukube nawe bukube mama wabana bange ebizibu by'omuntu tobirasa obiwulira bangi tebibagasa bireeta n'ekitiibwa kyaffe okuva abo bibulidde baddakumbali nga basika olowooza bakusasira kumbe besooka olunaku betulisasira ebyabwe towuliriza kusaba tubase byona ebyo byogera byabutwa mama wabana bange mulongo wange toakawanga mwagala nyo mama wabana bange mulongo wange toakawanga
Yashamuyingazinatyo nasaliye balato nasalisutsenabwiragaye muwamulelelagaye mabala moyinga nasiyandoto anotinazwiyeyemanda natona mabokiyolyetunanga aganatidesizye mobalenagaye agayogayogayo agayogayoga
All right. You're very welcome, Honorable Thomas Taiwa. Before you take your seat, please take pictures for further reference. All right, Honorable, we've seen you in Parliament. You're the best dancer we know. Shaba, just like that, she keep it zonga here. Fauti Band is giving. Please, Fauti Band. Honorable, yes, ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Thomas Taiwa. Let's go into the next speeches. Allow me to invite our sponsors to give their remarks. And I'm going to start with PKF. Let's welcome our sponsors from PKF, ladies and gentlemen. They're part of the people who made sure that this event happens. You're very welcome.
Our guest speaker, keynote speaker, and our principal, professors around, and MBA students. On behalf of the Managing Director, PKF Uganda, Charles Ogutu, the staff partner, Frederick Ibedi, and Sumesh De Cruz, we greet you all as PKF Uganda. My name is Verita Mirembe Nachiwoka. I am an assurance audit manager, and with me here, my colleagues, I have Winfred Namazi, one of our managers in project audits. I have Noreen Kemigisha, one of your own as well. She's our human resource manager at PKF. And we have Lydia Kawede, she's one of our managers in business process and outsourcing. We as PKF, we are delighted to be part of this event with you. I also happen to be a student of Masters of Science in Accounting and Finance. Same year as you. I know it has been quite a short year for all of us, but regardless, the struggle continues. PKF Uganda is part of PKF East Africa. We have over 8 offices in East Africa. We have 5 offices in Nairobi. That is, we have an office in Mombasa, we have in Nairobi, we have an office in Malindi, in Kisumu, and Nakuru. We have an office in Uganda, we have an office in Rwanda, and we have an office in Dar es Salaam. We are also part of the global PKF at large, that is PKF UK, called PKF International. With you, we are here to celebrate with you your special day, and together we are here to serve your audit needs and any other services. Now, PKF offers quite a number of services, We do offer assurance services. We offer outsourcing services. We offer taxation services, secretariats, business advisory, human resource consultancy, IT consultancy, project assurance, and among others. As PKF, we are here. We are happy to be with you today. Enjoy your evening.
Thank you so much, our sponsors from PKF. Allow me also invite our sponsors from NEC. You're very welcome, our sponsors from NEC.
London.
I'm feeling vibes on vibes. I'm taking dynamite. I know you can do it.
Thank you, the MC. Our guest of honor today, the Right Honorable Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Taiwa, and your dear wife, the Professor Mobus and your team, the keynote speaker. Thank you for honoring the invitation of these people. Our students of MBA, thank you, and I congratulate you upon this day. My name is Katongana James. I'm the Public Relations Officer for National Enterprise Corporation. I came with two people from NEC. One is Mr. Was Omar, is here with me, and my assistant, Aaron, is with me here. I'm representing Lieutenant General James Mujira, who has not been able to be here with you. He has other engagements of such a nature, so he has not been able to come here. I've represented him. Now, at National Enterprise Corporation, we are the commercial arm of the Ministry of Defense and Veteran Affairs, stroke Uganda People's Defense Forces. National Enterprise Corporation is a parastatal, government parastatal, that was established by an act of parliament in 1989 to serve as a commercial arm of the Ministry of Defense and Veteran Affairs. We produce goods and services for the benefit of defense forces, the public, and veterans. So we play a key role in socio-economic development of this country. National Enterprise Corporation executes its businesses through subsidiaries, a number of subsidiaries. So we have Ruero Industries, which is an ordnance factory located in Nakasongora, headed by Major General Savi Tumzei. We have NEC Uzuma, we produce water, mineral water, natural mineral water. And you, as we were asking the speaker, the deputy speaker, to really support us. You know, this water, you may not understand the intricacies that is involved in water. It is only, I think, Rwenzori and Uzima water that are natural mineral water. The rest are not natural mineral water. Either packaged water or prepared water or something. So I would call on you that we think of supporting your own. So we have Uzima Water. We also have NEC Construction Works and Engineering Limited. This has established itself higher in terms of construction. We have engaged in a number of construction activities. We also have NEC Agro SMC Limited that is involved in agribusiness. We are now implementing food security, Honorable Speaker. We also have NEC Farm Katonga. NEC Farm Katonga is involved in bull fattening. And we also have many joint ventures. Recently we commissioned the manufacture of armored vehicles. But we're also doing what we call maintenance, repair, and overhaul of helicopters. So we usually to have helicopters repaired in Russia. The cost of transportation of helicopters alone from here to Russia was very, very expensive. So now we can have our helicopters repaired here. So we are involved in a number of activities. Today we are delighted, so much delighted that these great people came to us and invited us. We gave them a modest contribution, and we are here to celebrate with you. We thank you very much for inviting us. Thank you.
I've been, and I'm still a student of MOBS, and I'm hoping that I will pursue this last stage successfully. But my primary duty, my primary responsibility is as a soldier of Uganda. I'm a soldier of the UPDF. I'm a Lieutenant Colonel. I'm a Director of Information. I didn't have the slightest hesitation in my mind that I would attend. Unfortunately, I'm currently busy in the field, attending to pressing operational assignments, and I cannot make it. As a case in point, in the last 10 months, the joint forces of UPDF and FADC, FADC is the Congolese National Army, the joint force of UPDF and FADC have eliminated no less than 7,000 ADF terrorists. We have brought back peace to large parts of North Kivu. This is the life I have been living for the last 28 years to make a humble but lasting contribution to peace and security of our country. Without stability, our country will not prosper. It is our collective responsibility, without exception, to guard and secure this beautiful motherland and Africa so that our people are secure, stable, and prosperous. As young people, your role in the future of Uganda, and by extension East Africa, could not be understated. Above all, the young people of Uganda demand not mere tokens of support here and there, but the necessary conditions in which they can thrive and prosper. Young people need jobs, and the potential for this is unlimited if we correctly follow the advice of our revolutionary leaders by leveraging the numerous opportunities in the four main sectors of industry, services, agriculture, and ICT. Uganda is also blessed with great talent, especially in the arts, entertainment, and sports fields. We shall strive without ceasing to support the interests of all the young people of Uganda to achieve their dreams. There is a lot we can talk about to share and deepen our mutual knowledge on several issues that affect our country. I hope that there will be another opportunity in the future in which we can meet and interact. I commend you all and the university leadership for the great progress you are making in your academic endeavors. God bless you. God bless Uganda. Thank you very much.
Extend our sincere gratitude to the commander of land forces. Tell him we appreciate his work. Yes, mostly we Twitter people. But tell him we love him. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me at this auspicious moment, I'm going to invite a very powerful gentleman. This is a gentleman who came with drip today, by the way. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together for the principal, Professor Waswa Balunywa, who will later on invite our chief guest. Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Waswa Balunywa.
Our chief guest this evening,
the Right Honorable Deputy Speaker of Parliament and your dear wife, I want to take this opportunity to thank you and welcome you to this occasion. Can you please join me in welcoming? Before you came in, I also was here and I danced. This particular song they are playing is an international one, which I can dance very well. I just wish they had told me not to come in these clothes. We would have enjoyed the dance. Our keynote speaker this evening, I want to thank you specifically for the presentation you made. Honourable Speaker, you missed a very interesting presentation. I expected to hear about tax, but he had to force himself to say something about tax as he ended. Today, somebody was thanking me for doing something, and they said, giving is like paying tax. Never expect anything in return. Those of you who are my friends will find that on my status this evening. But thank you very much, sir, for coming and joining this wonderful group of people. This is the cream of management in this country. I'd like to thank you. I know your struggles in supporting education, in supporting Makerere University. I've been familiar with it, and I would like to specifically thank you for that effort you've put in to see that Makerere and indeed public universities are properly funded. I'll get back to that. Allow me to address my students. Many years back, I was invited to an MBA class and I was told, sir, we are tired, you give us too much work, we need to be more flexible. And I told them an MBA is not a cup of tea. If you think it is, please leave. But they stayed. The MBA globally is the premier management degree that gives people the knowledge and enhances their skills in management. And the Makerere University Business School MBA is the best in the region. And the people you see here are now well schooled and people ready to go out there and do the best they can to make a contribution to changing this country. Some of the advice when they've just joined that we give them is we say, if you're married, get unmarried for the period of the MBA. I always recall somebody a lady who brought children to the school because the husband was always away in group discussions. But this is something you've seen. You cannot study alone, you can't succeed alone, you need to have these group discussions. I hope that you, despite the COVID and the online teaching, that you actually had these discussions. Fortunately or unfortunately for you, this is the best time you have in your life when you're a student. After that, sorry. You're going to the life of intrigue. I know some of you work at the moment, but when you come to the school and you have friends and you talk, you tend to be more freer. Of course, that is even for the undergraduate, that is something that they've not got into these challenges of looking for salary, paying school fees and related matters. So the MOOCs MBA is indeed the best program that you have, not only in this country but in the region. And my appeal to you, sir, is like you have done for Makerere, please do something for the MOOCs infrastructure. While we have wonderful staff, these people you see here, also the best. Many years back, When you look through our records, we used to be Mr. In the last 10 years, we've been seeing doctor. Now, increasingly, it is professor in the meetings. These people have done a wonderful job to prepare the institution to be able to teach. And MOOPS does its things with very little money, very little money, when you compare it to what other public institutions get. Our non-wage bill for the last 20 years has been 3 billion shillings. It's not even enough to pay NSSF, which is about 4 billion shillings. It's not enough to pay the government students, the 1,000 government students who we must pay living out allowances for. So these are things that need to be looked into. The challenge with government is we sweep things below the table. When you talk to a few people, they make a report and we proceed. But we need to improve our institutions. We need to be proud of our institutions. And much as we have excellent students, excellent staff, the facilities really things that we should not be talking about. They are really horrible facilities. Good enough when these people come and these teachers teach well, they forget to demand for the better facilities. But we also want to thank government for what it has done. You cannot say government hasn't supported us, it has. I would like to thank His Excellency the President. For the last, I think, 10 years, we've had a capital development budget, which has enabled us to do a number of things. This year, the budget is not there. We understand budget cutbacks. But there is need for the government of Uganda to look at all its public institutions and fix the challenges that exist, especially infrastructure. In some of our meetings, I've said we should not pretend to have medical schools. If we have a medical school, let government make sure that the medical school is funded properly. If we have a veterinary school, it should be funded properly. If we have a law school, it should be adequately funded to present that. So it's very important that we become proud of our institutions. While we thank government, we think there is a little more that can be done. We need some lecturing facilities that are modern. I've been to all the best. I've been to Harvard, Stanford, Oxford. And when I sit in there, listen to what they say, they're not saying anything that I don't know. But the wonderful facilities is what makes a difference. So I hope, sir, that this message, because Parliament is the one who passes the budget, we hope that a small bit of capital development for this facility can be allowed to us. Research. We want to thank government. It gave Makerere University 30 billion shillings. And you'll be surprised that these people you see here are the biggest competitors on that fund. MOOPS takes a big component of it. I know they try to squeeze us out, but we are very good. We are very good, and this morning I got a message from somebody who I didn't expect, said, I've won a grant from Makerere. So MOOPS needs to be funded in research. And not MOOPS, the public universities should receive grants for research. This is very important because we are not going to move ahead. Our biggest challenge is socio-economic transformation. Our biggest challenge is removing poverty, addressing poverty. Our biggest challenge is increasing the tax collection that we have, but we cannot do it without aspects of research to understand why do we still have a 13% collection of tax as a percentage of our GDP. Why? Why do people pay taxes? What is the problem? These are the people who do this research and inform government to be able to make the policies. But the way they are treated out there, there's need for the government of Uganda to support those people, to see that they're not killed. And yes, we love the money they bring, but it's important to have some kind of decency. I believe that Parliament has a role in this. Every Saturday morning I have a leadership session, very early in the morning at 7. And because I have been an advocate for some of these things, now I'm getting a lot of information. This person was killed here, this person was killed there. So it's important that the government of Uganda protects its citizens who are working abroad. They bring in money, thank you very much, they do that, it's wonderful, but it's important that they are protected. But these people should be able to go into why do these people leave the country and address that. It can only be addressed through knowledge creation, research, and making a contribution to the policies that we have in the country that address issues of poverty. I think the biggest challenge we have is poverty and an increasing population that's not educated. Right Honourable Speaker, I hope that the government of Uganda can continue to pursue the issue of free education for everybody in this country, especially at the primary and secondary levels. Socio-economic transformation will not come in an uneducated workforce. Socio-economic transformation will not come when the young girls who are 13, 14, 15 years old are producing poverty, not babies, poverty. But to be able to stop them, they must be in school. So there is need for the government of Uganda to commit itself on putting and keeping Ugandans in school. You will be able to control naturally the population growth rate. And you will be able to control naturally the poverty, the increase in poverty, by reducing on the numbers that we are seeing coming up in the country. Honourable Speaker of Parliament, I would like to again ask you to pass our warm regards to the Speaker. She was among the staff of these people, as a colleague, and we are very proud of her. And please pass our warm regards to her. To the students, you know, when you say students to MBAs, it feels odd because, some of you have, grown a little older, but still you're students. I must thank you for organizing this, putting this together. I think this is something that has not happened in a long time. I must also complain, if Nene is not here, the MBA is not here. Nene is our senior, is our academic boss, and we always want to cherish him. I hope that the organizers could pass simple apology as an omission. I also don't see the deputy principal here. I hope it was not deliberate, but when you invite us, usually if one of us is not there, the other will be there. But I want to bring warm regards from him, and he wishes you a wonderful evening. As you go out, we want you to be our ambassador, and the MOOPS is going to change to something a little different from what it is at the moment. We have been looking at enabling your future, but we now want to go a little bit out and see how do we address poverty. How do you, as a student, as you study, what are you thinking about the poor people in the country, especially in terms of empowering them, not giving them, but empowering them to produce, so that the Commissioner General can also pick some taxes from there. So we will be changing a little bit. I'm sure you've heard of the changes we've had. We are trying to get closer to the student and be able to serve the student better. Right Honourable Speaker, I want you to pass our warm regards to His Excellency the President for the salaries. Public universities now are reasonably well. After 3-4 years, we shall be complaining. You know, this money has a very interesting, now it looks a lot, but we add on to what we are spending, so after 3-4 years. But I would like to request that we should have a salary commission, a salary review commission, which should continuously look at these salaries. There is a challenge that a commissioner in government earns possibly 3 million shillings, but drives a car of 300 million. There's no relation between these two. So how is he going to live with that car? Yes, a government car, funded by government, but what he's taking is so little compared to the environment in which he's spending the money. This is something that must be studied, and the salary commission would be one thing that can actually address these issues, so that we know that periodically these salaries will be reviewed. I forgot something, sir. Many years back, the government of Uganda was sponsoring 2,000 students in public universities. As a result of some pressure, political pressure, the number increased to 4,000. Can this number increase every year? Even if by a token 500. These are things to think about, and I wish to appeal that the number of government students should increase every year. I am an advocate of removing the food component. I know it's not popular, but since we removed hostels in MOOPS, we have enabled the private sector to build wonderful hostels. And these days, when we had hostels, 60% of my time was on food, salt, toilets, water. These days, these people are asking me about research funds. That's why we've been mentioning them. Universities should not manage hostels. That's not our main business. We are spending 20 billion to repair Lumumba. I would knock it down if I had the authority to do that. But sir, you know, it's not possible to do this. I know the Lumumbis will be angry with me, but this world, to be able to change, you need different views and different opinions, and that's what I want to put across. So, sir, as I wind up, I want again to thank the students. Thank you so much for this wonderful event. I must tell you, we have a tragedy in our home. We've lost a mother, and we buried her today. And I thought going to Iganga, I will not be here. So you can see the priorities. Now people there are quarreling, where is the professor? He's not here. But I have to be in this occasion. My love for the students and the MBA program is endless. My thinking on a continuous basis on how to improve it is something that we do to see that we give the students something much better. So we hope that with some changes, especially in terms of facilities, we shall offer a better program. And we like that support from you, sir, to see that MOOPS is able to acquire the facilities. You will be surprised, sir, that the public universities, Mbarara had about 3,000 to 4,000 students. Gulu, about 4,000. Busitema, possibly 6,000. Muni, maybe 500. Soroti, 100. When you add them up, they are less than the number MOOPS has. But MOOPS is given a 3 billion shillings in terms of non-wage. I think these are Ugandans, they are our children. There's need for some degree of equity on this. we'll actually do much better if we're facilitated. Again, thank you, sir, for coming. Commissioner General, thank you for that wonderful speech. I've shared your few points with somebody, and he said, but why don't you bring him to speak to students? So, sir, if I'm with you, to invite you to speak to these students, please, we'll appreciate your time. I'm very excited. I think I'm short of words to say, but I hope that maybe we'll meet again. We shall have a last lecture for the MBA, what we don't teach you at the school. It will be a physical event. I know we've not met because of COVID. Sir, Honorable Speaker, this class, I taught mine online, and that's evidence, and they didn't even want to call me. So you can see where we are going. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for the support that you've given me as an individual, and I want to thank the Dean and his team for serving the students. And may I take this opportunity on behalf of the management of the school to wish everybody a wonderful night, and may God bless you all. Singular honor and privilege to invite you, sir, the Deputy Speaker, to address the audience.
Thank you, my brother and senior brother Johnson, Commissioner General URA. Afande Magezi, you and the same man who is the class president. What's the man? But the leadership and colleagues, I'm happy to be here. Now, when I was told that Johnson had spoken and given a keynote address, I took a clever option of putting away my speech. Because really, you people, you've done me bad. So, but luckily enough, Professor has taken me on another route, which I'm very sure Johnson didn't talk about, problems of MOOCs. If that was part of your keynote address, then I'll give up on you. But it's very important, indeed, when we meet on such a public forum, to be able to address all concerns beyond what we can share as brothers and sisters, but also about our institutions. I want to introduce my wife, who is an alumni of MOOCs. Now for us, in our culture, we give our wives names. So like mine is Chimaranjara. Then the one of Rugunda is Kirijirwa. The one of Babas is Kiyeka Mirwa. You know, those names mean a lot. Professor, that's a story for another day. But if you could just allow me just a few minutes, because I'll look for Professor. Professor, I'm the one who's going to look for you, so that we can have a dialogue on these issues you've raised. Because they are very, very pertinent to us. The education sector is deeply rooted inside my heart. I really pushed for support of that sector. I remember when we went to State House to negotiate salaries for lecturers of public universities. And at that time, the professor was at 3.5 million. And you were demanding that it should be doubled. And it was being called a living wage. Give us a living wage. MOOCs wasn't, Professor Varunyo has always telling his people are striking, but you people, you have a duty. I don't want MOOCs to be part of strikes. But later on, your people started joining seriously. You lost control. But of course they needed to join colleagues. You can't remain isolated. And we went into a boardroom with the president. So they asked for a living wage to double their salary. So the president asked, so how much do you want? We want 7 million. 7 million, if you don't give it, our strike won't end. I think that was 2012? Yes, around there. Our strike won't end. And that's why I see some people quoting presidential directives. Presidential directives must be respected, but again, within the law. Because when the president directs, and I'm telling you because some of you are going to be already top in government or are going to be top in government. So if you are to compare with the electricity, a presidential directive is a high voltage line. Now, there are areas, especially around Tororo, that have high voltage lines, but their people don't have electricity. Because when you have a high voltage line, starting from 33 kVA, you need to step it down. So now you as a public servant, you as a principal Mobus, Commissioner General, you implement the presidential directive by stepping it down to a level of distribution. Otherwise, if you take high voltage electricity in people's houses, they will be bad. So, those are the issues we go through. We have been grappling. I'm glad. And now the lecturers are doing better. And if we add on research funding, then these grants will be of great value, especially on humanities. But I would love to see our universities being innovative, Professor. You know, because you see, salary increments won't be sustained if they are to go at that level. Why? Innovativeness, making people enjoy work. And I've seen a culture here. When a Ugandan becomes permanent and pensionable, they sleep. Totally. And that's why our next push, let's finish a few things. Our next push will be that all civil servants should go on contracts. This business of permanent and pensionable, you meet someone in a bar, he orders for a second beer, and he tells you, me, I'm permanent and pensionable. So I'm even already drinking on my pension. And they are proud of it. Because, you see, you should be remunerated according to your performance, and you should be evaluated. So the issue of the Salary Review Commission, I support you. And I know His Excellency the President is already thinking about it, has already tasked Public Service Commission. When I was still in the cabinet, when I was a minister, we had already started tackling that issue. And in our dialogue, what we call the political high command, it's one of the issues we already looked at. But in public universities, in the countries where they are paying very well, the model they have adopted is there is cost sharing of that salary, which I can call cost raising. What the university does, they contract you, and for example, you're going to annually earn 100 million. But over 100 million, the university is going to pay you only 60 million. 40 million, you must generate research. You must design proposals. You generate grants. Then the university earns overheads, and part of overheads top up your salary. That's how professors are billionaires in the Western world. They win grants, but in our universities, even some grants are won, and a lecturer goes sign it quietly without the university knowing, or they waive off. They say, no overheads for the institution. I don't know how much overheads you get from the research. But at Makerere, I'm leaving the council this December, but now I've been a bit down. But I had pushed for that. You must declare. In America, research overheads are 55%. When you give a grant to an American university, 55% goes to the institution. Because they need overheads, that infrastructure, everything that is needed. It's very, very expensive. The one of infrastructure professor I've had, I'm going to go back indeed and get the figures. And that's why I said we will have coffee. Me and my sister, we will have coffee with you. We will come as your children. But then we talk over issues of mobs with the focus of supporting you. Research funding, yes. We give Makerere 30 billion, other public universities 3 billion. You see, government makes proposals, we sit down, we grapple. You can't believe that final day when we are crunching figures. People don't know how the national budget is made. You just see it being read. Because the minister presents to parliament. So it's up to us to sit down and now you start getting a figure from here. You find you're distributing poverty. Because in government, it is what they call unfunded priorities. Something has been unfunded for 20 years and you call it a priority. So, unfunded priorities, I need 300 trillion. But the resource envelope, you're telling me 47 trillion. So that's why our focus now has been on institutions that can generate funds. For example, we are supporting URA strongly so that we can raise our tax to GDP ratio from 13.2% to at least a target of 19%. If we achieve that, we shall be adding another around 9 trillion onto state coffers. Now, that will reduce on how much we are borrowing. Because, and Zambia, whose debt to GDP ratio is 116%, they have a tax to GDP ratio of 19%. So why aren't we paying taxes? Why aren't we paying taxes? And I'm soon having a dialogue with my brother Johnson, because traders petitioned me that is taxing them out of business. I said, no, self-police yourselves and work with him, and you can even agree on mechanisms. I don't think he's interested in closing businesses. But I know very few people want to pay taxes. Very few people, very many people want services, but very few want to pay taxes. Very, very few. So if we can pay our fair share, it's going to be, helping us. Of course, on protecting citizens working abroad, yes, there are lots of bilateral arrangements being made. This is an issue we've shared with His Excellency. I know efforts are being ramped up. And that's why, even in this organ transplant bill, we have tightened the road. Because there had been this rumor, the bill we passed on Thursday. Now you will be able to do a kidney transplant in Uganda. But we have tightened the road because many of our people, we are told, we are being taken for that. Of course, free education for all, yes. Yesterday I was with Johnson at a function, and people were laughing at me when I said we are like two OBs in Kampala. I'm a beneficiary professor. I started writing on paper in this room. We are writing on ground and leaves. I came to Kampala the first time in 2001, coming to Makerere, carrying a metallic case. I reached here, Makerere confused me, Kampala confused me. Every building looks the same. All cars look, very many cars. You're from Viterako, we had only one pickup belonging to a man called Levy. I can tell you, when I said I'm standing for deputy speaker, everyone looked at me and laughed. Anyone, they just, who are you? We even afford protocols. My wife didn't even understand what that involves. Where I was mainly in business now, but this time I had money. I wasn't poor. So I had my small command in my pocket. So I was very confident. So what I needed was to come in and ramp up support, The system never interfered with me at all to say, who are you? No. I was standing with my sister, our friend, who was a favorite of the president, and the president said, give him a chance. Until at the last minute when they said, but you're dividing the part and your influence from the line you've taken. And he said, I request you to step down. I said, who am I? If you're told by the president, and some of you are in this place, you stand up against the president. A president. But most of them who stand up against him are those who have never met him. They meet him on TV and then Bafuma. You abuse a man who doesn't even know you. So, and we moved. So, Uganda is a country where you are smart, you can be successful without government interference, because opportunity, the kind of atmosphere we've had, they've created, if you are smart. Maybe if you say, me, I'm not rich because I've not been allowed to be corrupt. I've not been allowed in deals. But if it's trading, if it's going into agriculture and digging, tell me where will government find it frustrating? Tell me how your fertilizer will come and Johnson says pay taxes on it when fertilizer is exempted. But just the little money we have, we sit in town, we are on social media, abusing government, complaining. And it brings me to the story I've been giving of recent, and I gave it last night. And my friend KK, the Attorney General, called me today to read it, about time and how we use our time. So when I told people yesterday, I saw them scratching their heads. And it was on how you use your time. If you sleep 8 hours every day, and God gives you life, like Professor Balunya here, and you live for 60 years, in 60 years, you would have spent 20 years sleeping. Okay? 20 years sleeping out of 60. Now, if you're a person who eats breakfast for 1 hour, lunch 1 hour, dinner 1 hour, and God gives you 60 years, in 60 years, you will have spent 7.5 years eating. Now, if you are to look beautiful like my wife, and so you need some makeup, you know women, you look at yourself, you doubt whether you're the one, then you turn, you doubt whether you're beautiful, you adjust. So if you spend 1 hour every day looking at yourself, trying to look beyond what you think you look, and God gives you 60 years, you will have spent 2.5 years looking at yourself. Now, you get 20 years sleeping, 7.5 years eating, and 2.5 years looking at yourself. That is 30 years out of 60. But the activity you've been engaged in, it involves expenditure. Sleeping requires you to spend. You can't sleep when you're hungry, you can't sleep on nothing, you can't sleep without a household paying rent. Eating is expenditure. Makeup is expenditure. But you have not earned at all in whatever you are doing. In the end, the government at the end. So we have to change our work ethic. That has to change. That has to change, and if we don't change that, then we won't be able to do much. You who have attained a very high training, if you are managing any business, focus on growth of that business, because you're growing your career, you're growing your CV. Even if the owner of the business does not pay you handsomely, does not reward you handsomely, but at least your CV, someone will come for you to give you a better pay. I have seen it, I have tried. You know, I have tried. It's a very, very, very big problem in this country. professor, which we have locally. Corruption in government, the one you are talking about. You go to government, someone is earning 2 million, you call him to work for you in private, you pay 10 million, he refuses. Why? Enjauro. Because I received your reports. You get Auditor General reports, Auditor General's reports on oversight. I'm extremely sure these good professors, led by Professor Walunyoa, they have not taught you to be corrupt. No? If you choose that line, kindly, that would be a wrong line. I know people from MOBS are well disciplined. I encourage you, once you go into areas, there is a government department we've been talking about today morning with one of the heads, where we are going to clean up. Because we are facing lots of issues. So today at 7 a.m. I left my bed, I went on a call with one of the heads, and we really agreed he should go and clean up. Because I'm tired of cleaning his dirt in Parliament. So much. So much. And I'm glad he said he's going to clean up. So there is one where they are going to recruit very, very soon, very good positions, one of the influential ones. So please help us on the issue of corruption, help us to fight corruption, and then we shall save a lot for this country. The issue of corporate governance in government institutions. Now, that one we have failed you on several occasions because we interfere so much as politicians. We interfere with Johnson, but you will allow us to interfere little. We are not going to over-interfere, but the issue of corporate governance, and I have examples. Because some are well read. You're running it very well. National Water is running well. But we were having some, like Uganda Electricity Transmission Company Limited, where the board in 1 month had 11 meetings. And they were regular meetings. They were not even special meetings. You know? So I think it also reflects on us. We have to go back as senior leaders in government. When we are recruiting people, we stop recruiting people on government boards and agencies who are coming as a way of retirement. And every day is knocking on the door of the CEO. Finally, Professor said you are ambassadors of MOBS. You people who can afford dinner at Serena, I don't think if you decided, each one of you, to give 100,000 to MOBS per month for your lifetime, I don't think really you will fail. You see, the universities he's been talking about, when you go, I was at Johns Hopkins, Bloomberg School of Public Health, $500 million from Mayor Bloomberg. Okay. I've been giving my report to Makerere. Harvard has an endowment fund of $53 billion. Princeton has $37 billion. You know, the budget of Uganda is $15 billion. Harvard's endowment fund is $53 billion. But how did they get it? From people like you. Knowing that I should give back to whoever made me what I am. Well, there are few issues for universities to sort out, like the exit processes of giving transcripts and that. But really, universities must design a mechanism of self-sustaining themselves. Professor, I can tell you with the competing demands we have, now all of a sudden the Minister for Health wants 69 billion for Ebola. So it means we have to suppress a certain item in the budget, and we are pressed. this crisis. COVID came and we needed around 600 billion to control it. So we have a lot of competing demands. We must design mechanisms of making our alumni give back to the institution. Would one see moves doing a holding company? I don't know if you already have one. I helped Makerere design. You know, I did the concept when I went at Makerere on council. I did the concept for a holding company. The next I had was, I want still Makerere land. And who? Professors. Because the university land is untouchable. But people are stealing it. Now Katanga is gone. They had encroached on Kalanyoro. So I came in and said, you people, I'm a businessman. This land you have in here, just get someone to develop it. These hostels, break them down, get a developer. Get Aga Khan, we organized, we did a conference, we brought Aga Khan, we brought a developer from South Africa there. The next I was a New Vision and the monitor, Taiba, wants to steal university land. These businessmen you've started bringing into academic institutions. There's one I asked, I said, me and you, who inspires your young people? Because every evening, after teaching, they see you walking to get a taxi. Now, me who is a student, they see me driving off. I said, so who is inspiring? I said, stop abusing me. If I've come to give you an idea, I have told you how you can develop your land and you earn money from it and it goes into institution coffers. For you, what you prefer is the land. You see all those dilapidated buildings around Kororo on the upper side, all of them belong to Makerere. All Katanga, Makerere. In the end, you hear that someone made a title book. If you don't develop it, don't tempt people. People are looking for land. So, lectures don't be rigid. Institutions must be innovative. Think outside the box. Borrow money, do business. Have an investment arm of the university. Commercialize your research. Commercialize your innovations. If not, they are going to be stolen. So with those very many words, I want to wish you the best. Some of you shall be meeting in Parliament, whether when you're coming to defend your budgets or to explain audit queries. Some of you are be coming to your companies and looking for business. Others will be coming to look for business from my side. Time is on our side, most of you. Can see your fellow young people. Form a group, bond, keep tossing the ball of opportunity towards each other. You are a class of this. If you hear an opportunity, first ask from your group, can someone take it up? That's how Indians have developed. That's how Chinese have developed. Reduce on praying too much. When going to church, you kneel down, you pray. In the end, you wait for miracles. I told these people, Christian lawyers, last night, Johnson prays so much for him that he knows how to balance, but he prays so much I can never compete with him on prayer. But for Indians, every God they believe in must have a component of prosperity. If you don't have economic prosperity, you can never lie to me that you can be happy if you don't have money. You can't. Even in your poverty, you're dying secretly, just quietly. But you also want to come to Serena. You can't tell me you want to be Michukumi all the time. And like the Wachika say, for us we are very clear. Every man has a voice, but the volume is in the pocket. So you must make money so that you can also have some volume. And like also, like we say, you don't depend on your father's resources. If you drive your father's car, you you don't qualify to speak in a grand meeting of men who own bicycles, because you own nothing. You're having other people's property. I wish you the best. I'll be contributing, I know you still have bills, so I'll be contributing to the bills.
All right, Honorable Thomas Taiwa, thank you so much. The award is going to give out is going to Right Honorable Thomas Taiwa. Congratulations, Right Honorable. Wow. Behind every successful man, there's a beautiful woman.
I have a message. Congratulations. I have a message for you. God has sent me to you. I have a message for you. God has sent me to you. Listen, them say, them tell you, say you can never be the one. But God say, make I tell you, say now you him choose. In 1 month, in 1 week, you will sing a new song. In 2 days, lesser than you will hear. Congratulations, you're in the glory of God. Congratulations, He has done it for you. And you will come back with a new song to sing. God is good. Yes, you will come again with a new song of praise. God is good. Oh, congratulations. 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 Say what the Lord has done for you. Congratulations. God is good. Them say that.
4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
In many ways, I have seen His faithfulness forever and ever. I will hear congratulations. I have seen the glory of God. Congratulations, He has done it for me, and I have come back with a new song to sing. My God is good. Yes, I will come again with a new song of praise. My God is good. Oh, congratulations. Congratulations. See what the Lord has done for me. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Time for jubilation. Congratulations. No more tribulation. I bring you good news where you cannot refuse. Hold on. I told you with Christ that you can never lose. Oh God. Oh man, I beg you give me your attention. Very, very
Come on,
Super.